it's just, it's so sad. I mean, my father's case, he received, they threw the book at him, for what he did with nonviolent drug incident, 60 years. This is basically a lifetime sentence for something just so small. It was less than a tablespoon of cocaine.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. And as the title of this video suggests, you have an opportunity to save a life today. And that life that I'm talking about is that of Michael Edwards. This is a man who is facing a life-term sentence. He is currently, at this point of the making of this video, has been sitting in jail now for 27 years for the nonviolent crime of being addicted to cocaine. But as I said, you, the viewers of Press for Truth, have an opportunity today to help undo this grave injustice that has been done. And joining us on the line to help us understand how that is possible is the son of Michael Edwards, Kingsley Edwards. Kingsley, thank you so much for joining us today. I know this isn't easy for you. I mean, your family was ripped apart by the state 27 years ago. So I want you to explain to the viewers how we can help undo this grave injustice. But before we jump into that, maybe you can give us a little bit of the backstory. How did all of this begin for you and the Edwards family?
Yeah, and thank you, Dan, for having me on. It's really unfortunate situation. My father, was addicted to cocaine. Years ago, he got involved with this kind of the wrong crowd back in the day when cocaine was rampant. And we see a lot of obviously evidence that the government wasn't involved with that. He got caught previously before, and then his last incident was actually pretty wild. I mean, his ex-girlfriend basically turned on him after he would marry her, and she was so regretful after she had done what she had done. Called the cops on him and got him actually to get her cocaine, and then called the cops on him. That she actually committed suicide after he was convicted because the sentence was so just outrageous, and she saw that what she did to our family, including myself and his mother and sister, my grandmother and aunt. So yeah, he's just he's been at the cost of $30,000 a year. He's been incarcerated for now 27 years, and we've done pretty much everything that we could do up to this point to get him out, but this is currently right now what's happening. The biggest opportunity for his release potentially in March. So we're really trying to get the word out there and kind of spread the message and tell his story. He's my father is a good man. He just, like I said, he was addicted to cocaine, and he's just a smart guy. So I put a post out there on social media a couple of days ago that's that taxpayers have been paying for this to feed, clothe, house, everything, do everything for this able-bodied man for 27 years, and at the cost of almost $1 million now to taxpayers in Florida. So now's the time to act, and quite frankly, this is the biggest opportunity, but also potentially the last opportunity. Besides, kind of a miracle of getting the governor to just outright pardon him, which typically doesn't happen very often.
So you said there's an opportunity coming up in March, and I want to get into how people can follow through and get involved in that opportunity. But before we do that, I want to play just a brief clip that Josh Sigridson of World Alternative Media got the exclusive interview with your father from jail. This is what he had to say about the current situation.
As of this conversation right now, I've been incarcerated now for 27 years for these two nonviolent drug offenses. And so everybody knows the offense happened, back when I was 30 years old. I was addicted to cocaine. I used to pick up cocaine for my friends whenever they wanted it so that I could party with them. And what happened was I was dating a girl, Renee's fiance, and she knew that I was a cocaine addict, and that I kept a supply at my house, and that I sometimes sold cocaine to support my addiction, which I'm deeply ashamed of and regret. Because Renee was upset with me for breaking up with her and wanted to get me in trouble, she called and asked a detective she knew from a prior arrest to set me up in a drug transaction, which he did. And So 2 times they called me and asked me to pick up some cocaine for them, which I did, and I ended up selling them altogether $850 worth of cocaine. And during my hearing in September in 1994, during my sentencing hearing, I asked Judge Rossman, the judge that was assigned to my case, I told him that I was a cocaine addict and needed treatment, but he refused to give me treatment. I also told him that even though my prior and current offenses were the result of my cocaine addiction, that no court had ever sentenced me to a drug treatment program. And unfortunately, Judge Rossman wouldn't send me to treatment. Instead, he sentenced me to 60 years in prison, basically a life sentence for these 2 drug offenses. I haven't been able to find anybody else at this time that's received such a lengthy sentence for selling such a small amount of cocaine, but as it is, there I said, rotting away. Now, as I said previously, the state attorney, Mr. Joseph D'Alessandro, wrote and asked the clemency board to commute my sentence. In his letter, he said that my 60-year sentence far exceeds the appropriate punishment for my crime. He said that I've served more than enough time, and he said he urgently asked them to commute my sentence. And in her letter, Ms. Ross wrote that my sentence no longer serves the interests of the community, that I've most likely served more time than I would serve today if convicted of the same crime, and that I've served more than an adequate penalty for my offenses, and that I should be allowed the opportunity to rejoin society. And she asked that my request for clemency be granted.
All right. So as he said, in there for a non-violent crime, and this is just beyond a grave injustice that has to be undone. But as we said earlier, there is an opportunity coming up in March to undo this and to get this man out of jail. So maybe you can get into that. How can people get involved? What exactly is coming up in March?
So he filed for clemency, which is basically, a way once you serve a certain amount of time on your sentence where you can kind of, file this form and they review it to see if the clemency board meets 4 times a year in Florida. And then they review these cases and, basically they can grant you a release if they find that, whether, maybe the prison numbers they have too many people in prison, which is, typical in America now, unfortunately, or, over budget, or that, that person that just the crime doesn't fit the time doesn't fit the crime is what they, kind of what they say based on current, outlooks on laws. And luckily, in the US and elsewhere, these types of nonviolent crimes are being looked at, much differently, especially back then when there was kind of, just say no to drugs, and there was this big campaign of 3-strike rule and all this kind of stuff. So the easiest thing for anybody, what they can do, and they might not think that this is like a big deal for just campaigns in general, but change.org, what we're doing, and they look at these things, and what we do, we print out. Right now we have over I think we're right over 6,500 signatures. So we basically, we send this over to them all the time. It shows that he has a community backing him. It shows, all these people, please leave, like, if you do sign it, if you could leave even just like a nice comment or something like that. It just, it really shows them that, okay, maybe we should take a deeper look into this. And especially if you're a Florida resident, it's very important because these are, just typical politicians that get voted in or out. So they are relying on your votes to stay in power in office. So definitely Florida residents, it means it's basically a +1 when it comes to kind of the legitimacy of your signature. But all of them really, matters to so much to us, and we're thankful for everybody that's done it so far. We send it to them electronically. We print them out. It's basically, we have like hundreds and hundreds of pages of comments and the signatures that we send over to them, so they can't ignore it. So that's basically the easiest thing. Another thing, maybe we can provide a link to maybe the address or whatever. But if people are willing, a notarized letter to specific offices of the Florida Clemency Board is above and beyond a step that we would greatly appreciate as well. Just again hounding them with basically the plea to let a man go for something that if now he got caught, he could have been released in less than a year, or possibly not even any time at all. So so yeah, it's just, it's just so unfortunate that we've had to go through this. But we're very optimistic. We've remained optimistic, but now's the time to act, and that's why I'm talking to you and talking to others, because we just have to keep spreading the word.
So at this point, we have a petition that's gaining traction. We do need people to create these notarized letters. You can send it to the Commission Investigator Sarah Morris. She's currently verifying all of the facts in this current case to be submitted to the 3 F-Corps commissioners so that they can review and discuss and then present their recommendations to the Clemency Board. Links to all of this are going to be located in the description below, so you can write the appropriate letters, send it to the appropriate people, and sign the petition, folks. That's something that you can do right now. It's simple. It takes a couple of, less than 20 seconds. Click on the link in the description and sign the petition. We implore you today to do so, to help get this family back together. Now, Kingsley, what does this say to you about the grander kind of scope of the war on drugs? I mean, how is it not ridiculous that they've stripped the man away from his family? They've essentially torn apart a family. What, to save a man from hurting himself? I mean, this is a nonviolent crime, and if they're worried about him hurting himself, how does it make sense to rip apart the guy's family?
I mean, I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that that the drug on war, or the war on drugs is a farce. It's and it's just, it's so sad. I mean, my father's case, he received they threw the book at him. For what he did with nonviolent drug incident, 60 years. 60 years. This is basically a lifetime sentence for something just so small. It was less than a tablespoon of cocaine when it happened. And this is really just kind of the first thing. Obviously, from my perspective, I want to get my father out and get him, he wants to work. He wants to, be a productive member of society, which he can be. This is just really the first step. We're going to get my father out, and my father and I will continue to fight for other people that are serving sentences for unjust reasons. And that's, this has always been kind of, what you and I both strive for. And we're getting there slowly but surely. People are waking up. But we have to have it happen, as soon as possible, because every single day in prison is just, basically a lifetime sentence for a lot of these guys. And my father in particular, he's seen rapists, murderers get out before him. I mean, can you imagine just mentally what you would have to go through to kind of see that stuff happening on a day-to-day basis? So he's been able to keep it together somehow, some way, But I'm very thankful for that. But now, like I said, I'm very optimistic, and the goal is to basically, I recently engaged last year, and the goal is to get him out before my wedding in Key West, Florida, in July. So, that's really what we're striving for.
Well, we really, really want to help you make that happen. And as you said, he's not the only one. I mean, that's the scary thing about what's going on here. There are a lot of people who are facing the exact same situations, with loved ones incarcerated in jail, potentially facing life sentences for nonviolent crimes. This is such a grave injustice, and it seems to have all been caught up in the whirlwind of the war on drugs, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when it was, all the hype and all the rage. Well, he unfortunately got caught up in that, but maybe this can be a precedent setter. If we can overturn this incorrect judgment and get this man out, hopefully it will, create a ripple effect where others who are also suffering this grave injustice can see their loved ones come home to them too. And people make mistakes. I've made mistakes in life. You've made mistakes. All the viewers watching this have made a mistake, but everyone deserves a second chance, and especially when it comes to non-violent crimes. So again, I really implore everyone, check the links in the description, read the petition article, read up about who Michael Edwards was and what this family is currently dealing with, and please sign the petition so we can get this man out. Again, what are the dates coming up? You said there's a deadline in March, and this may be the last opportunity. So it's of the utmost importance now, correct, that people get involved?
Yeah, I forget the exact date. Sorry, there's a lot going on, but it's I believe it's early March. We can put the link, or I can provide a comment. But yeah, it's just it's really important as soon as possible. We are going to be following up with them next week, so that's kind of why we're doing this drive specifically right now to get the word out even more. We're going to be again, sending them electronic, all the signatures, comments, and physical form too, and just really blasting them, because we need to ramp it up before the March deadline. And this is just really it's a sad situation, but it's also exciting. I mean, I basically grew up without a father. I've had to connect and really bond with him over a telephone line, over the last year since he's been in. And but like I said, he's a good man. Smart man. I mean, I feel like I got definitely my my intelligence from that side of the family, and he needs to be let out. He needs he's already got business plans. He's already got like ideas for patents and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I've really actually learned a lot from him while he's been incarcerated, and so he needs a second chance. And I just want to say one other thing, that even the former prosecutors of who threw him in prison, they have also said that that those were different times, that the time does not fit the crime now, and he should be released. And the judge that threw the book at him, they gave him 60 years for no good reason, just recently got prosecuted himself for soliciting prostitution and getting in a fight with a police officer. So it just shows you that these people that kind of cast judgments, they're not necessarily good people, and like you said, everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah, and it's really sad that the girlfriend at the time ended up committing suicide, because honestly, the state is who is truly at fault here. The finger has to be pointed at the system, at this completely corrupt, backwards, broken system. No, it's not broken, actually. The system is completely fixed. And that's why this is just such a terrible, grave injustice that has to be undone. So I really encourage the viewers to click on the links below, help the Edwards family get their family put back together and have this undone, because as we saw, even the judge seems to be a corrupt individual. And it all came down to the decision of one man that is now deciding the fate of an entire family, guys. But with your help, you can help us turn this situation around, and it's timely. We need you guys to act on this matter now. So as of the date of you viewing this video, please maybe pause it right now. Go ahead and click on the petition, sign the petition, write letters, send them in to the commissioners there in Florida. Let's do everything we can to push back against the state, especially when they're in the business of destroying the family unit, which is something I'm very much against. So once again, Kingsley, we hope all the best for you and your family moving forward. We're going to continue to follow this as it develops. In March, we'll let our viewers know if our actions are going to be successful in getting him out of there. And I hope to God and pray that it will. I look forward to, as you said, this is exciting as well. Hopefully, we're going to see the right thing happen here and this man get released from prison. And as I said, hopefully a ripple effect will carry on throughout the internet, and other people will realize, hey, maybe I can get my dad or mom out of there for the same crime as well. So once again.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I have faith that it will happen. I don't think that any human can possibly review what has happened to him and what he's how with his good behavior in prison and not see that he deserves justice and to be released. So I'm very hopeful.
Well, I'm hopeful too, and if it doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to, then we're going to have a real serious problem on our hands that we're going to be pushing back against as well. So the state better do the right thing here moving forward. And look, we all know what the right thing is. get this man out of jail for a non-violent crime. So once again, I encourage everyone to click the links in the description, write those letters, get them in, and stay tuned. We're going to continue to track this as it develops. Kingsley Edwards, thank you so much for breaking this one down for us today, and we wish you guys all the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much for helping us spread the word. Really appreciate it, Dan.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.